you thinking about moving to Asheville, North Carolina in 2025. In this video, I am going to be covering everything from research to tips and tricks about the moving parts to some local insights and settling in, so do not go anywhere. Step number one is doing your research and deciding whether or not this area, this town, this part of Western North Carolina is the right fit for you and your family. And part of the research is not just reading up on the stats, it's not just watching YouTube videos or reading articles or joining local Facebook groups, but also visiting the area. I know we personally had quite a few clients who were not in the position to visit the area. They had to relocate, they had to make a move without visiting the area. So it was kind of a blind move. And I know it is true for other people as well. That can be a pretty costly move or mistake if down the road you discover that this is not the area for you. What I tell everyone is that nothing can replace your personal experience, feeling about and perception about the area. So come and visit. We had so many clients who thought that they are setting on one place or one area, part of town, or maybe a town around Asheville. They were so sure that that's where they wanted to be. And they ended up doing complete 180 and changing their mind after the visit, after being here for any amount of time. So coming for a visit, I think, is a crucial step in any kind of research about any area, not just Asheville. Your visit in person along with the actual research and looking at the numbers, looking at the data, such as cost of living. I've been talking about it for years and I don't think it changes anytime soon. Asheville cost of living is quite a bit higher than the rest of Western North Carolina and North Carolina. So do your research. Please use the free websites that are available, ℂ𝕠𝕟𝕟𝕼 and some other websites where you can compare the cost of living in Asheville, North Carolina to pretty much any other town or city in the United States of America. Do your research and make sure that you can keep up with the cost of living. One of the biggest contributors to elevated cost of living here in Asheville, North Carolina is of course the cost of housing. Prices here are not so low. There's not a lot of affordable housing. In fact, there's barely any affordable housing, but even comparing median sales prices here in Asheville, North Carolina to some other towns, it's quite a bit higher. Right now, median sales price in Asheville is in the lower 500s. So keep that in mind when you are thinking about relocating and shopping for a house. Also, research where you would want to live. And I'm talking about different parts of town. We have East Asheville, South Asheville, Northwest Asheville, West Asheville. They all have very different vibes, different cost of living, and different median sales prices. And there are also neighborhoods within those parts of towns that also can be very different. Just to give you some examples of the top choices would be, of course, downtown Asheville, probably going to be the most expensive part of Asheville. Then we have neighborhoods within North Asheville. The most expensive zip code is North Asheville 28801, and then places like West Asheville and West Asheville. We have the West Asheville, I talked about it in a different video, and the rest of West Asheville. So those two areas also have very different vibes, very different price points and things that they have to offer, amenities and proximity to things. South Asheville, for example, offers a variety of different neighborhoods in different price points and offers more of a suburban, southern, traditional type of lifestyle with probably most amenities and everything that you might ever need would be in South Asheville, but that also, of course, comes with more congestion, and that comes with more traffic that you will hear nonstop from anybody who's been living here for any amount of time. So South Asheville is a more congested part of town because it has everything. It's got top school districts, other schools as well, like private schools, charter schools, all kinds of amenities over there. So naturally, traffic is a little worse there than some other parts of Asheville. And then we have a bunch of smaller towns that are kind of peppered all around Asheville proper that have their own downtowns and that they have their own lifestyles and things to do, places to go to, businesses, schools. So make sure you do your research on those as well. Do your research about weather and climate. Recently, that's been a hot topic since we had one in a 1,000-year event here last September of 2024. But generally, outside of that, the seasons are pretty mild. We have all 4 distinct seasons, but they are super mild. We almost never have anything that's too hot, too cold. Summers are super mild, and personally I cannot do heat. I'd rather be cold than do heat, and this area is perfect for me in that regard. It is also not so humid like even some other parts of North Carolina. Here, summer evenings are perfect. We eat on our back deck almost every summer evening and into the fall and late spring. It's perfect, it's comfortable, and we love it. Winters, kind of a disappointment for me personally, and I'll tell you why. I love snow. I'm from Siberia and I miss snow. We haven't had any measurable snow here in Asheville proper for 3 years. Yes, places in higher elevation, and you don't even have to go far to find them. I mean, 10 minutes from downtown and you can be in Town Mountain where it's much higher and you would have more snow or some snow. But other than that, we haven't had big snow in years. And so winters are mild as well. And all this allows for being outdoors and going out and not having to be stuck at home pretty much all year round. Research the job market. We do not have a lot of high-paying jobs, and I covered that with Christy K from Express Pros. I'm gonna link this video in the description so you can refer back to it. But generally, the growing industries here in the area are, of course, tourism and hospitality, healthcare. We have 3 big hospitals here in the area, and advanced manufacturing. So there are some options, there's just not a whole lot of them, and those jobs tend to be not so high paying. So again, do your research. Also, do your research on what you're gonna do after hours, after you are done with work. What else is here? We of course have a ton of outdoors, and like I said just a few minutes ago, you can do them pretty much all year round. You can go hiking, biking, cycling, snowboarding, skiing. We have 2 ski resorts here in the area. They're about 30-50 minutes from downtown Asheville. So you have a lot of options when it comes to outdoors. We also have a ton, and I mean a ton of breweries. Downtown is filled with breweries, as well as pretty much every part of Asheville and surrounding areas. Breweries are everywhere. If you're not into beer, we have vineyards as well. So we love to eat, we love to drink. We also love to enjoy our music. There's quite a few live music venues here in the area, and arts. We have a whole district, River Art District. All the artists are that's where they create, sell, they have galleries, they have gallery tours, so you can go and check them out if you are visiting. So those are just few examples of things to do here. Step number 2. You will need to plan your move and set a budget. One of the first things most people decide is whether they're gonna buy or rent, and I'm gonna cover that in another video, so stay tuned for that. Actually, go ahead and subscribe and hit that little bell so you will get notified when I'm going to release that video. But buying or renting, that's a big question. So a lot of people jump into home ownership right away for several different reasons, and some people prefer to rent and look around first. But setting your budget is also a good idea so that you can start keeping an eye on the market, whether it's rental market or homes for sale, and that way you can decide and get an idea what you can get for your money. By the way, if you are buying or selling in Asheville or greater Asheville area, pretty much in the whole Western North Carolina, our team will be honored to be your real estate experts of choice. Our contact information is down in the description. please reach out to us if you have any questions. And I recommend everyone start doing research about where you're gonna live, especially rentals early on. I'm talking about, a few months in advance. Start looking on Zillow and realtor.com, local Facebook groups. Reach out to me and my team, and I'll give you a list of our contacts and websites for all things rentals, because unfortunately, we do not have one place for all the rentals here in the area, so it can be a little bit of a pain in the neck. Just reach out to us. Our contact, as usual, down here in the description. Here is a little local insight for you, coming straight from a property manager who lives and works and manages property here in the area. In a weaker rental market like we are in right now, you as a renter can be asked to pay first month rent and a deposit. In a stronger rental market that we are not in right now, but maybe it's coming, landlords can ask you to pay first month rent, last month rent, and a deposit. So it's landlord's choice, and you should be prepared for those variations. And of course, different landlords do different things and approach business differently. Those are just some things that I hear from somebody we worked with and who do a lot of business here in the area. You will also need to set a move-in budget. And from what I hear from other people who have been moving, it can be all over the place. Just like with everything else, I recommend getting a couple of quotes. Don't just go with one company, but they will also most likely require some kind of deposit. Be careful when doing research on moving companies. I recommend, of course, going off of some other people's recommendations. Maybe it's somebody with a good reputation, big company, although I heard great things about very small companies who charge less and have better customer service. But generally, here's another tip for you when moving. Summers will be the busiest times of the year to move and will be the most expensive because it's a hot season. A lot of families, especially with kids, are moving in summer because they want to wait until the end of the school year, and before the next school year starts, that's when they make a move. So that's a prime time for moving companies to charge a lot more, as well as end of the month tends to be more expensive. A lot of people wait until their lease, until their rent ends, and that's when they make a move. It can be a more expensive time of the month to move. So if you can swing it, if you can afford, if you can be a little bit more strategic, maybe plan to move maybe spring or fall, maybe even winter, and in the middle of the month, not at the end of the month or the first of the month. Step number 3, secure housing and utilities. And of course, if you're buying, I always recommend, not because I'm a realtor here, you don't have to work with us, but I always recommend, if you're a buyer, work with a local agent who knows the area. Research people, read their reviews. Everyone these days have some kind of profiles on different websites, social media websites, their own websites, Google, Zillow, read their reviews. Check them out, see if you're gonna even like working with that person. I guarantee you that process will be a lot easier for you. If you are renting, there are some red flags to watch out for when you're trying to secure a rental or find a rental. Reach out to me and my team again, and I will be more than happy to share those red flags so that you do not fall for the scammers, because there's a lot of them who, maybe put a listing for rent when in fact it's a house for sale. They trick people into paying deposits, or even, I heard it from somebody, not in this area, but in North Carolina, people pay the deposit, they moved into the vacant house, and then the actual owners find out that somebody lives there. So they go and evict those people, and it's just a bad situation for everyone involved. Just imagine that. If you are looking for short-term rental, there's a ton of choices here as well. There's a ton of short-term rentals here in the area. And of course, Airbnbs will be the most expensive. They are furnished and they are ready to go. You can rent them as short as 1 day period up to, whatever. Those would be the most expensive. Websites, rather like Furnished Finder, will be more affordable. They will also be furnished, but they will be more affordable. Those are typically being rented for, like a month or two. And of course, longer term rentals, anything from 30 days, 6 months to a year. Typically, those are not furnished. So there's a ton of choices. Again, reach out to us and we'll share our list of websites and resources when it comes to all kinds of rentals. Setting up your utilities is, of course, the next step before you're gonna move into your new place, whether it's a house that you bought or a rental. And of course, if you are working with us and letting us help you buy a home in the area, you would not need to worry trying to figure out who those utility providers are. We will do all that for you, so you'll be all good to go. One thing that nobody can really do for you is set up your mail forwarding. So don't forget about that. I hear nonstop when people already moved on, moved away, and the mail continues to come to their old address. So set up that yourself, please. Step number 4, make a move. Some local movers here in the area are, of course, college hunks. I know they are nationwide, but I'm talking about family owned and operated here in the area. College hunks, 2 men and a truck, Trinity movers, and some other ones. Or you can always do it yourself. You can pack yourself, move yourself by hiring or getting a pod or U-Haul truck. Of course, it's more work, but it's going to be more affordable. When you get here, you would need to register your car and apply and get your North Carolina driver's license. Do not forget about that. Honestly, dealing with local DMVs can be a pain, so you can always make an appointment. Honestly, a lot of people just drive to more remote locations because there's not a whole lot of wait time there. So do your research. Again, reach out to us. We'll be happy to give you some tips about that. But according to North Carolina law, all new residents are required to update their driver's license within 60 days. And again, I covered that in some other videos previously. Here in North Carolina, once you become a resident and register your car, you would need to pay annual registration tax, and it will depend on the value of your vehicle. So there's some calculators online that you can look up to figure out how much you would have to pay, but that's something I know a lot of people don't like. And of course, once you make a move, go ahead and meet neighbors, go out and about, meet people, join local communities, local groups. Again, if you're working with us, we'll be more than happy to guide you and point you in the right direction. Of course, it's all individual, and many people have different tastes and preferences and hobbies. So again, we'll be more than happy to direct you to the groups of interests and plug you into the local new community. And step number 5, although there will be a little bonus at the end, so do not go anywhere. Settle in, get involved, and enjoy Asheville. And what it means is shop local, support local businesses, go to farmers markets. There's a ton of farmers markets pretty much in all the different parts of Asheville. Go check out River Art District and support local artists. Be part of the community and check it out. Explore outdoor activities, outdoor options. Again, different seasons will offer different things to do. For example, in summertime, you obviously not going to be able to go snowboarding or skiing, but you can go biking, hiking pretty much all year round. We have Blue Ridge Parkway, we have Pisgah National Forest, DuPont State Park, we have Bent Creek Experimental Forest right here in Asheville. You don't even have to drive too far, although Blue Ridge Parkway goes through Asheville as well. Pretty much anywhere you live in Asheville, you'll be super duper close to all kinds of trails. Waterfalls within an hour drive from Asheville, there's a ton of waterfalls, so explore that. Join our newsletter, weekly newsletter about all things weekend events. You can also sign up for that. There's a link down in the description. Again, if you are into beer, especially craft beer, check out breweries. Downtown alone has over 30 breweries. We also have great music and food scene. Several of our local restaurants here in Asheville were nominated and won James Beard Awards. So we are a small little town, but we have great taste in all things eating, drinking, music, arts and crafts, and of course outdoors. Join local groups, online or offline local groups. And I'm talking about meetup.com, nextdoor.com, Asheville Reddit, in-person group or events such as AVL Meetup that is happening every month for all things, not just real estate, although there's a lot of realtors and investors and people and movers and shakers who are in the know. So it's a great place and great event to get plugged in, meet a lot of people who are doing great things here in the area, and learn about all kinds of things that are happening in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm also gonna include some of those bonus tips and resources in the description of the video, but some of the things and places and websites to consider is visit asheville.com. That's an official visitor and relocation website, as well as Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce, another great resource, avltoday.com, jam-packed website with all kinds of events, news, updates, what's happening in the area. You can sign up for their newsletter. And of course, I always tell everyone, join local Facebook groups. As a mom, I find it super valuable to be part of some local mom groups. Great resource for all things, you know, especially researching schools, daycares, summer camps that are coming up. Probably the biggest pain in the neck when it comes to having kids in the area. They go fast, they're not cheap, but those moms groups are a great resource for all things like that. So I know I covered a lot, but there's still so much more that you can do and research. Again, if you're working with us, if you choose us as your relocation specialists, we'll be more than happy to guide you not just through the whole process, but make sure that you plugged in, answer your questions, and guide you through the process of being integrated into Asheville, North Carolina, surrounding areas, the whole Western North Carolina. Welcome to Asheville. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next one.